they're gonna be upset at you, man.
That shit was
But
terrible.
I'll give you something to really be mad about. You want something to really be mad about?
Huh.
Y'all have seen what the fuck's going on in the world right now.
Yeah.
You've seen what's happening with the Supreme Court. You've seen this bullshit.
What the fuck is going on in America, man?
What's not going
Roe?
on in America, bro? That's the question.
You complete the bar. Roe versus
Wait.
Dwayne Wade.
Wade.
The Supreme Court has
Well, he-
overturned Roe versus Wade. I gotta read a fucking article about this. This one's pretty outrageous. I'm not gonna lie. I might get my serious hat on in a second. The Supreme Court overturned Roe versus Wade on Friday, holding that there is no longer a federal constitutional right to an abortion. The opinion is the most consequential Supreme Court decision in decades and will transform the landscape of women's reproductive health in America. Going forward, abortion rights will be determined by states unless Congress acts. Already, nearly half of the states have or will pass laws that ban abortion, while others have enacted strict measures regulating the procedure. Roe was egregiously wrong from the start, Justice Samuel Alito wrote in the majority opinion. Its reasoning was exceptionally weak, and the decision has had damaging consequences. And far from bringing out a national settlement of the abortion issue, Roe and Casey have inflamed debate and deepened division. What a bunch of horse shit.
Okay.
You want to talk about the Drake album? This is real life the Drake album. Like, fucking up people's lives, bro. Fucking it up for women.
Nobody dancing to this.
No, bro, it's art, okay?
It's
But
art. This ain't art, bro.
You guys, oh, no, not
Wait,
this. This is
what?
art.
Wait,
This is
what?
art. I was talking about the Drake shit is art. But, this shit is just outrageous. It's so crazy, and there's such a, I feel like the biggest feeling is, well, I don't want to speak for everyone, but there is a lot of powerlessness when we're talking about the Supreme Court. Well, I know some people might not feel the way because they're going hard and they're protesting and they're signing petitions. But I really do feel like there's such a powerlessness that comes attached when the Supreme Court, which is supposed to be like the highest court we have, is making decisions that are like deadass. They feel very unconstitutional as far as forcing women to do certain things with their bodies and being able to control that and have a say in that. That shit is super crazy to me.
That shit is fucked up. Also, abortion, that shit is selfish. Extremely selfish.
Abortion is selfish?
Hell yeah. Abortion is selfish. Because think about it. When a woman does go through the process of abortion, it's like they have regret, they have confusion, they have emotional trauma from it. Abortions could end a relationship. Like, people could, she's gonna be like, damn, this motherfucker nutted in me, and now we're sitting in this situation. No, let me here, I'll bring it around. This motherfucker just came inside of me, and now I have to go through this, and I don't want to be going through this. However, I still feel like it's a decision that you got to make yourself. You know, you shouldn't be able to allow your body should not be governed by the decisions of people who can't have babies.
Facts,
you know?
yeah, they're all dudes.
Yeah,
They're all dudes.
and like one lady.
Yeah,
and it's like abortion also comes from, I guess, like what was the thing? Like abortions are consequences of two people's actions, excluding sexual assault or rape.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and you should still be able to have that choice to make it. Like it's super unfair that they get to make this decision for half of America. And now everybody's jumping on this bandwagon. You see the wordplay? Bandwagon. But
why do we clear out? Why do we clear out for him? Why the fuck did we clear out?
Yeah, he need help. He need help.
I thought he was trying to tell a joke at one point. It sounded like you were against, you were anti-choice at
No,
first.
I'm definitely pro-choice because I'm not gonna go through. Like, I feel like a guy will come and be like, "Damn," and then the fucking abortion happens, and he's just like, "Damn, that was a hard decision to make." You ain't feeling shit. The girl got to go through this, and I don't think we should allow this type of shit to happen, or at least not even that part. I feel like that 6-week period is bullshit. I feel like it should at least be bumped up.
What's
to
6-week period?
6-week period to that's like the latest you can get.
Where?
It
varies by state.
It varies by
State by
state.
state.
The whole decision basically means that states are now able to ban abortions.
Yes.
completely, even if it's like
Yes.
Yes.
They can, but they won't because it's unreasonable.
No,
Like,
a lot of states are already.
Nah,
planning
you
to
can't
do
ban it completely, bro. After like 2 weeks, that don't make sense. Like what they're gonna
you
do.
don't even know if you could have the baby. Like you don't even know if you're pregnant by that
That's
time.
the thing. So I don't think they're gonna be that unreasonable, but for sure, like red
Bro,
states
places like
Mississippi,
Texas
They're making it
something
illegal.
like
that shit is gone. No, dude, a lot of the places they've already stated like they have laws getting ready in place. They're banning that shit. Now it's like it's only a handful that are really rocking with that shit.
And even if you do go to the other states that are rocking with it, they can still press charges and from the state you're from.
Yeah.
So like certain states, like even though they do ban it, if there's like an ectopic pregnancy, I think where it's like I don't know the word ectopic, but I'm guessing the situation where your baby's gonna come out bad, pretty much, right?
Yeah.
Like they'll still give you an abortion, right? But like I was kind of confused because I saw everybody like up in arms about it, so I kind of like started reading about Roe versus Wade a little bit, and so here's a little excerpt. Many think Roe versus Wade as the case that legalized abortion. However, that isn't exactly true. What it did was change the way states can regulate abortion and characterize abortion as something that was covered under constitutional rights of privacy. So under the 14th Amendment, they started pretty much saying like fetuses or people who weren't born were still protected under constitutional rights. But the overturning of this pretty much just puts it back into the state's hands where it was before Roe versus Wade. So it's kind of like nothing necessarily changed, you know, like at least from that regard, right?
Yes.
But I think my biggest issue with something like this is the fact that the government is having their hands into your own private life about what you're doing with your body, right?
Yes.
And like the boundaries that are being pushed by that.
Yeah.
And I think my biggest thing is like, why now? Like, why would you decide to overturn it right now, you know? And I don't have the answer for that.
Well, they finally got enough Republicans in the Supreme Court. Thanks,
Yeah.
Trump.
Which is kind of crazy because the Supreme Court's supposed to be like impartial, right?
And they're not supposed to say shit like the whole thing was egregiously wrong from the start. They don't speak about previous rulings like that. They're supposed to be mad respectful.
Yeah, normally like precedent is precedent. Like it's supposed to just stay like that, and you base your decisions off that, right?
And
But
so
it's
you
just
very
crazy.
lightly make changes. You don't come
Yeah.
out like that. Sorry, go on.
Bro, and it just bothers me. Like, why can the government tell you what to do with yourself? Like, what if like I'm pregnant, but I'm having a bunch of these health issues and stuff, and you're telling me I can't get an abortion? I think a woman should be able to make that choice for herself, because like a woman, like you can't really speak for them, especially a bunch of dudes.
or at least
But-
have a safe space, and not say make it illegal, so then you have to go get a street abortion. So now you might
Exactly.
and the baby
That's
might
what you
die.
want people
Yeah.
doing?
And that's a big issue. And like a lot of people were saying, okay, so what happens now with like the same-sex marriages? Like, are they going to go back to that case?
Yeah.
Are they going to go back to contraception
Slippery
and stuff
slope.
like that? Like, how can we address this, right? But like again, I'm saying like, why now, right? And then I'm thinking back to like 2020, where like everything kind of started getting kind of weird, where everything was so divisive. You know, everything was you're either on this side or you're on this side, right? And so it's kind of like setting up for the next 40, 50, 60 years. Like, what is this going to look like? I feel like we're not going to see the ramifications or the issues that this causes immediately. I think we're going to kind of see it like some generations down the line. Like, and then my conspiracy, I'm thinking about so many different things. Like, I don't know the answers, right? I'm thinking about population control. Like, what's the conspiracy theory behind that? You know, so I'm just like,
They're
man.
trying to add to the
I
population.
know
apparently.
that.
But
But honestly, I think people are tripping out a little too much about the Roe v. Wade thing, because like blue states for the most part are pretty safe, right? It's only going to affect like some red states.
But a lot of those
So-
states, they're not going to have any access. I know there's people that have started these missions they'll fly people out, but for a lot of people, that's not the environment they're in where they even have access to shit like that. So especially if you broke, you're in an impoverished neighborhood, you're in fucking Louisiana, or like you're in Oklahoma, you just might not have the resources to even get down there, and you might be doing it behind your parents' back. They don't know about it. You really got no options. For a lot of people, there's no real option, and it's really unfortunate to say. Like, all the outreach is great, but there's so many kids that can't tell their parents about what they're dealing with, and they might just be in dangerous ass environments. They don't even have the meat. Well, I guess if people are flying them out, but they might not even have access to even have the foresight. How the fuck do I reach out to all these companies that are willing to fly me out and shit like that? And people got jobs too. People might have a 9 to 5. They just barely even making ends meet. It'll be hard to just pack up and move. I don't know how the funding situation is, if they'd be able to compensate for missed work, but dude, it's tough for a lot of people.
Have to get them vacation hours in. No.
Some jobs you work at McDonald's, you ain't getting no vacation hours, and you might be like a fucking mother of 3.
Nah, you still get it. Like, sick hours.
But like I was
vacation.
just thinking like recently, like about the vaccines and stuff. Like the government's kind of forcing that upon us, right? So people who want to argue like my body, my choice, like you got to be kind of consistent. You know, I feel like it doesn't make a lot of sense to just apply it in certain like
I did
contexts.
not think
you
of
know,
that.
so it's like I think a woman should be able to make that choice for herself. But we go back to vaccines and stuff and how they're forcing like booster shots for like kids under the age of 5. Like that doesn't really seem
what
fair.
are the boundaries? Like,
What are the
where do we
boundaries?
go?
But
bro. Yeah.
the only counter argument I could find to that is technically they didn't force you. They just said y'all can't come in if y'all didn't get the vax.
bro. Yeah, it's
But
like,
technically, you
That's-
could have
that's
just
kinda
stayed at home.
forced.
Yeah.
Technically, you could have stayed at home. They just said, if you want to come in this business, yeah, it's not
look,
gonna.
it's like how they're not forcing you to get an electric car. They're just gonna make gas $10 a gallon, and then you can't afford to drive a gas car.
Well,
That's what
California,
they're
they
doing.
say like by 2020, whatever, you're gonna have so many electric
there you
cars
go.
on,
Yeah,
on
they're
the
gonna
road.
force it.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're not gonna let gas cars in their state. Like you can't. So, like, what are you supposed to do, bro? You forced, but you're not forced.
Yeah.
Like I can go to another state and buy a gas car and bring it here. I think probably there's gonna be loopholes like that, but it's not forced, but it is. So it's like that's where we're at with this Roe v. Wade stuff. It's like, yeah, you could travel to another state to get an abortion, but they're making it harder.
I'm interested to see like what really happens, you know, because it's a lot going on. I mean, and I think the population control point was just like, I think millennials, we don't want to have babies, and we're all like, nah, we're not gonna have pregnancies and shit. So
Yeah.
maybe it's like, nah, we need more babies out there. So I don't know, we'll see. But like next generations or two, we'll see what goes on.
Yeah, I mean, I think there is actually like a population collapse happening right now. Like we're not reproducing enough. They talk about overpopulation, but I think it's just like us not having enough resources on this planet. But in terms of, like, think about it, like how often are like couples having like 2 or more kids? Because you got to have at least 2 kids to continue that trend. But if you're having less than 2 kids, right, that's population collapse.
Right.
And-
especially now, like our generation, we're like, nah, we're not having kids. I don't need to have kids. Like we're all trying to like move and do our own thing. It's like, okay, we'll see. We'll see. It might be a lot of different shapes and reasons as to why this is going on. So,
And I see the pro-lifers. They talk about like, they always ask them. The pro-choicers will ask the pro-lifers about like, okay, so what about all these people that are in poverty and having kids in foster care? And they're saying that, you know, we've been working at it for so long that we do take care of these people. But honestly, if your kid's
bullshit.
in foster care, how are you taking care of them? That kid is not growing up with a healthy family or fucking have parents or anything like that. And also, if you're gonna talk about like faith and if you're gonna talk about faith and religion, some of the people, I've never seen anybody that's gonna be like, yo, I'm gonna take, instead of going and protesting at fucking Planned Parenthood and shit, take the time out of their day to go help a single mother with her kid. You know, like how often does that type of shit happen?
Yeah.
So it's like you guys really want to talk about pro-life. You better help,
Bro, and
with this fucking life that's coming
the
into
foster
the
system
world.
now is already in shambles.
Yeah, bro, a lot of kids talk about the
imagine
foster
what it's gonna be when you have a bunch of babies that didn't really want to.
bro, and it's just baffling to me that these people, they care more about an unborn life than they do about like 16-year-olds, 15-year-olds getting killed in like Chicago, South, all these places where the people are getting killed all the time. Gun violence is like at an all-time high in all these different places. They want to focus on the baby of the mom's baby who she doesn't want to have it, even if she got raped, whatever might have happened. They're so focused on this baby that's never even breathed its own air, but they don't give a fuck about all the kids that are currently dying. That's what
That's
they're
what I'm
focused
saying.
on.
Be consistent. Like if you take a point, be consistent across the line. Don't just say pro-life, for example, when you or like pro-choice when you're talking about like abortion, stuff like that, and then the vaccine and stuff. You just keep your mouth shut. Like, yeah, like let's give 20 vaccines to little children and stuff. You know, it don't make sense.
And y'all better not be supporting the death penalty either. Keep it across
For real,
the board.
yeah.
Everybody
pro-life,
lives.
stay pro-life.
And I think it
Yeah.
also
Doing
like
that.
really just depends on like what you consider a baby, or like when the heart starts beating, like is that
There you
considered
go.
a baby,
That's
So the-
or is it a baby at conception?
Bro, I don't
So
give
the
a
science
fuck about
behind
none of
it,
it.
the science.
Well, because
that-
I mean, because
I don't care when they grow fingernails. I don't care when they
Damn.
first start feeling pain. I don't care about
there
none
you
of that
go.
shit. Take care of the kids that's getting shot every day on the way to school. Come on, fuck all that. Like the mom don't want the baby. It's in her body, bro. Look, that's her decision to make, bro. You're not gonna be in the household helping raise the kids, so just don't worry about it, bro.
And that decision is like a punishment in itself. Like that shit, it's not some easy shit that somebody has to go through getting a fucking abortion. You're thinking about that baby. You're thinking about, oh my God, like I fucking took a life or whatever it is to get you through it. You're gonna be thinking about that every day.
Like,
I
nigga,
just
I'll
feel like,
belly flop on this baby so quick. You gonna keep fucking playing.
No, okay, so I heard Patrice O'Neal, he made a really good point. He was like, I personally don't give a fuck about what you do when your privacy, do whatever you got to do, right? But the second that you do have a baby, it's no longer your body, it's the baby's body. Because you're harboring that individual, like whatever that is.
Yeah.
And they kind of changed my perspective on it, because it's like, damn, that does make sense, right? Because like now you are providing for something else that is inside of you as a woman, you know? So
like
it's-
technically it's still life. I'll still give it that, because they'll say that, oh yeah, it's only just a clump of cells at
That's all
at
it
a certain
is.
point. But they'll respond with like, aren't we just a clump
We
of
are
cells?
just a clump of cells. That's what I was gonna say. Like the biological perspective, like we start from one cell, and we basically trickle up to like basically a trillion, right?
Yeah.
So it's like we're no different than
that baby.
pretty much. So it's like, what's the definition? So it's all like perspective, and I think
Right.
like doctors are setting that tone right now, but really it's like, who's right? We don't know.
And then it gets kind of tricky when you put religion into the conversation
Oh,
too.
yeah.
You
Yeah.
know? So then it's
that's
like
the
you
last
have
shit.
religion.
That's the
That's the
last shit I
last
want to
shit.
hear about, bro.
Exactly.
Like,
So now you got religion thrown into the mix. You got the government.
like, you want to
So
know
it's-
my belief? Let me start telling you my beliefs. I believe that you should be able to fucking dress this way we're not talking about no beliefs when we're talking about someone's body, as everyone has
Yeah.
the right to their own beliefs.
Yeah.
So I don't even want to hear the fucking, oh, well, I am a Christian, so I have been taught. I don't give a fuck what you've been taught in your household. I could be whatever the fuck religion you never heard of, and I'm gonna just start telling you, according to our religion, you have to have an abortion. Like, bro, I don't give a fuck about your
Yeah.
beliefs. We talking about someone having the right to do what they want to do with something that's in their body. I understand limitations of how long when it becomes cruel, because I was exaggerating when I'm talking about belly flopping. That's kind of wild.
No, you wasn't. No, you.
But no, I'm just saying, like, obviously there should be limitations, but for you to just say, nah, we're gonna force you to have this baby, the whole thing is just crazy.
It's
bro.
terrible for the government to make that decision.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Like, who are they to tell me what to do? Like,
Exactly.
I'm gonna do what I want.
I think, man, you should be able
I
to do
pay
whatever
my
you want with your body.
taxes.
I think drugs should be legal. You want to take, I think it falls in the
Ew.
same realm of you should be able to do whatever you want to do. How are you telling people what they can and
Yeah.
can't put in their body? I think that's a similar realm as far as, are we at the point, or are we able to be told what we can and can put into our bodies? Can we take care of our bodies? And I feel like it all kind of coincides.
I also feel like that 10-week period is way more fair than fucking, because that shit don't even show up on
10 weeks, yeah, 10 weeks.
Because at 4 and 5, week number 4 and 5, that's when it will show up on the pregnancy test. Yo, if you're gonna hold it to like 6 weeks for certain states, I'm just like, yo, nobody's gonna fucking know that they have
But
the
that's
baby.
6 weeks was the cop out when they couldn't ban abortion. When before they had this ruling, that was the cop out where they'd start being like, all right, fine, you can have abortions, but only at 6 weeks. So if a girl's 2 weeks late on her period, if she doesn't check within that first week, she's fucked. Obviously,
Yeah.
like that was just their way of tap dancing around. We don't want no abortions happening. So they made it a rule that it wasn't gonna make sense, and now they can dead ass just say, nah, that shit's gone. Yeah, y'all ain't. It's illegal. Crazy. Y'all want to hear about some more Supreme Court decisions?
Oh yeah,
get it.
this
Let's
one we might